Archangel Michael says, there's something strange happening around you right now, something that isn't just coincidence. A quiet energy has started to follow you, and those who once ignored you are beginning to talk in hushed tones. Your name is being passed around like a sacred echo, because you're far more important to them than you realize. You were never meant to fit into the crowd, and that's why they've been watching. Behind smiles and everyday greetings, people are silently studying your steps and mimicking your decisions. They act unaffected, but your presence shifts the room, and your energy stays even after you leave. There are meetings, conversations, and silent glances that happen the moment your back is turned. You're at the center of it all, and they won't dare say it, but they're adjusting their lives based on your actions. Even the people who walked away are secretly hoping you'll look back just once. What they fear the most is your awareness, that you'll one day know how powerful your position really is. You hold a weight in their lives that they can't admit because to do so would mean surrendering to your light. And they're not ready to admit that your value overshadows their intentions. Type Amen to get blessing 333. There are messages they delete, pictures they hide, and emotions they bury just because they fear the power of your reaction. You don't even know how many times they hesitated before speaking your name. Your memory lingers like perfume on their hands, and no matter how hard they scrub, it stays. You're more than a memory, they carry you like a secret they both treasure and fear. They wanted to underestimate you, but you've grown into something unshakable, undeniable, and unforgettable. Even in your silence, your spirit roars louder than their words. A confession is waiting to be spoken, but the weight of your presence makes them tremble. They don't know how to stand before you without exposing their shame. You were their answer when they didn't even know what they were seeking. Archangel Michael says, someone who tried to walk away from you is now haunted by everything you are. They try to mimic your strength, but fall short in every attempt. They once saw you as fragile, and now they see you as fire they can't extinguish. Type Amen to get blessing 648. They've tried to copy your style, your words, your peace, but what you have isn't something that can be stolen. You were chosen to carry a weight that others would collapse under. They laugh with others, but cry in silence because your distance is too loud to bear. Someone close to you has been watching your glow grow brighter, while theirs dims from the inside. They told others they didn't care, but their eyes betray their mouth every time your name comes up. You were the only real thing in a world they kept faking. Behind a locked door, there's a journal with your name inked into it more times than you can imagine. Thoughts they'll never say aloud, memories they replay in quiet moments, regrets that replay on repeat. You are the moment they wish they could return to, but they know they're no longer strong enough to handle you. Your strength has become a mirror, they see what they lack when they look at you. And they either try to dim your light or distance themselves because it's too hard to admit they lost something divine. You were the blessing they rejected before they knew what blessings looked like. Type Amen to get blessing 979. There's an older woman who speaks your name under her breath, as if invoking a spell. She knows something about you that she hasn't shared with others, and she watches you with both pride and envy. You unknowingly challenged her authority without ever raising your voice. You're shifting the balance in rooms you don't even enter. Doors are opening for you because your name is carried like gold dust by people you never met. Your future was once delayed, but now it's racing toward you because they can't block you anymore. Archangel Michael says, you are about to receive a revelation about who's been fighting for you in secret. Someone you thought was quiet is the one standing up for your name behind closed doors. They know your value even when others pretend not to. Those who once tried to erase you are now realizing they erased their own chances at peace. Every time they try to move forward, they trip over the memories of you. You were not a chapter, they're discovering you were the entire story they misunderstood. Type Amen to get blessing 1044. There's a person losing sleep, checking their phone, scrolling back months, hoping for a sign that you still care. But your silence has become the loudest message they've ever received. You changed the way they view life without even trying. You've become the standard they can't reach and the dream they can't unsee. They compare everyone to you and end up disappointed every time. You were not supposed to walk away, but when you did, the world tilted for them. Your kindness wasn't weakness, it was a gift they couldn't afford to misuse. And now, they realize how costly that mistake was. Every smile you gave was healing, now that it's gone, they're left with shadows. There's a group that speaks highly of you when you're not around. They admire your strength, your grace, your growth, but they're too afraid to tell you. You've become a symbol of what they wish they had the courage to be. Type Amen to get blessing 711. You were never forgotten, they just buried their emotions so deep, they thought they could escape them. But love doesn't die, it transforms, haunts, and follows. You became their favorite ghost. They search for you in songs, in dreams, in moments of silence when the world is too quiet. You echo in places they thought were safe from your memory. And that's how they know it was real. Someone has a letter they never sent you. It sits folded inside a book, unread and heavy. It confesses truths their mouth was too afraid to speak. There's something powerful in your walk now, it demands attention without noise. You turned pain into art and sorrow into direction. The way you move now, they can't look away even when they try. Type Amen to get blessing 826. You were more important than they let on, and now it's too late to pretend otherwise. They wanted you to doubt yourself because your confidence threatened their masks. But now you stand alone, and yet you outshine them all. They speak in riddles when your name comes up, trying not to admit the truth. But the air shifts every time someone mentions you, because you are unforgettable. They thought they could replace you. They were wrong. In the silence of night, someone is finally breaking. Their tears speak your name louder than any words could. They would trade everything just to start over with you again. Archangel Michael says, your glow is not random, it's divine intervention. You've been lifted above the noise because your journey is sacred. You were not meant to fit in. You were meant to transform. Type Amen to get blessing 590. Someone's watching you from a distance, not out of malice, but regret. They never thought you'd become the very person they secretly wished they could be. They wanted to hold you down, but now they're realizing they should have held you close. There are screenshots of your pictures in a hidden album. Your smile, your eyes, your presence, they carry it with them even when they pretend not to care. You're still their wallpaper in a world they won't let others see. Their pride couldn't handle your love back then, but now their pain can't handle your absence. They fumble their words now, not because they forget you, but because they remember everything too clearly. You left an imprint where others barely left a trace. You are not behind, you are ahead, and they're only now catching up to what you've always known. That you were worth more than silence, more than games, more than almost. You were the one. Type Amen to get blessing 800. Stay strong in your light, because people are waking up to the reality of who you are. The same ones who doubted you are now hoping to be in your presence again. But now, it's your turn to decide who enters. There's something poetic about your rise, it humbles those who mocked you. You've become a quiet storm in their lives, cleansing what was false. You carry truth like thunder. Your worth was never tied to how they treated you, it was always bigger. And now, you're walking in that truth unapologetically. You have become their lesson. Let this moment remind you, you are more important to them than you'll ever fully know. You may never get the apology. But you got the power. Type Amen to get blessing 999. Now their days feel incomplete, even when they're surrounded by everything they thought they wanted. Your absence has made them realize that attention isn't connection and presence isn't always peace. You were the only one who brought both without needing to perform. They scroll through old chats, seeing how you never asked for much but gave everything. Every message from you now reads like gold they tossed away. And their heart feels the weight of every ignored moment. Your energy wasn't loud, but it left impact. It still lives in the spaces you've long left behind. Your touch, your laughter, your essence still fills the gaps they can't explain. They replay your voice in memories, realizing it was a song they never truly appreciated. They wonder if you think of them, not knowing you've already outgrown the old version of you that once waited. You're not just moving forward, you're evolving beyond what they ever imagined. That scares them more than anything. Type Amen to get blessing 1212. Someone they're currently close to knows they're not over you. That person can see the hesitation in their eyes every time a situation reminds them of you. They flinch at the mention of your name, because it still carries power in their soul. You have moved on, not with noise but with grace. And yet, your silence is the sharpest sound in their world. It cuts through their fake peace like truth slicing through illusion. People in their life now sense the ghost of you, how you live in their reactions, their regrets, their eyes when no one's watching. They smile, but their heart aches. Because it's still full of you. Archangel Michael says, your worth is multiplying, and it's being noticed even in rooms you've never stepped into. They now speak about you with awe, carefully choosing words they once used carelessly. You've become a legend in a story they no longer know how to finish. Type Amen to get blessing 6644. You were the calm in their chaos, the steady hand in their storms. And now that you've gone, their skies are always gray. No matter how many distractions they chase, nothing compares to your peace. They try to laugh, but it's forced. They try to love others, but your shadow stays in the room. You were not temporary. You were a permanent shift in their spirit. You gave them opportunities to meet you at your depth, but they stayed at the surface. And now they're drowning in shallow waters of regret. They had you, and they lost you, not because you changed, but because they never truly showed up. You once whispered support when they were silent. Now the silence is theirs to feel. The tables have turned, and what was once overlooked is now unattainable. Type Amen to get blessing 4585. They write your name in places no one can see, on notebooks, on locked phone screens, on their heart. It's their way of holding onto what they know they can never reach again. You became a masterpiece they mishandled. Someone in their circle is urging them to reach out, but they're afraid. Afraid they'll be met with the strength they once feared in you. You've become too powerful to be manipulated. The things you tolerated before, you now rise above with quiet dignity. They don't recognize you anymore, and that's what haunts them most. Because deep down, they know you were always becoming this version. There's a place you used to go together, now they avoid it. Not because of pain, but because of reverence. It's where your spirit lingers, and they know they don't deserve to meet it again. Type Amen to get blessing 2788. You were the chapter they skipped ahead in, not knowing it was the whole story. Now they're trying to rewrite endings that never belonged to them. They look for closure, but your peace doesn't allow it. They once thought they were the ones with power. Now they realize you were always the source. You're the light they tried to dim, and now they sit in the dark, praying for your return. Their ego couldn't handle your truth. But now their truth is drowning in the absence of your light. You walked away, not because you stopped caring, but because they stopped showing you that they did. They still look for you in strangers. Hoping someone, anyone, can mimic the way you once made them feel. But no one can. Because no one is you. Type Amen to get blessing 3777. Your name was never ordinary, it carries destiny, it carries change. That's why they remember. That's why they can't move on. You are the reason they question their decisions now. Every missed call, every unsent message, every unfinished sentence, they all have your name on them. You're not just in their past, you haunt their present and reshape their future. They now realize, you were not just someone who loved them. You were the miracle they failed to recognize. You were the fire they touched but couldn't contain. Archangel Michael says, your journey is divine, and they were simply a page in your prophecy. The page has turned, and you are rising into chapters that they're not prepared to read. You are no longer within reach, but you are forever within memory. Type Amen to get blessing 8322. You never begged for attention. You just gave your heart. And that's why your absence hurts more than any scream ever could. They know they'll never find someone like you again. And even if they try, they'll come up empty. Because what you gave came from the soul, not convenience. They speak of you now with reverence, not arrogance. With soft eyes instead of sharp tongues. Because time has humbled their pride, and truth has elevated your name. You are not meant to return to them. You are meant to rise, to inspire, to be remembered. And whether they admit it or not, you are their greatest what if. Type Amen to get blessing 4440. So let them watch you from the shadows. Let them whisper your name like a prayer they were too late to say. You don't owe them your presence anymore. You don't need to explain your worth. It's written in your glow, in your peace, in the way people now bend when you enter the room. You've become the standard. You were underestimated, ignored, undervalued. And now? You are unforgettable, untouchable, unshakable. Let them feel the weight of who you are in your absence. Let them live with the echo of everything they tried to silence. Because now the silence belongs to them. Type Amen to get blessing 9001. Now every person they meet is held up to your light, and they all fall short. They may smile, laugh, and pretend they've moved on, but their soul remains stuck on you. You're the lesson they didn't want, but the one they'll never forget. Even the universe seems to mirror back your essence to them. A scent in the wind, a song in the store, a phrase in a conversation, your memory is stitched into the fabric of their reality. And no matter where they run, there you are. Their spirit trembles at the thought of you loving someone else the way you once loved them. It eats at them slowly, quietly, and completely. Because deep down, they know no one will ever receive the version of you that was created specifically for them. You were the rarest energy they'll ever come across, and they fumbled it trying to protect their ego. Now they sit in the ruins of their decisions, surrounded by moments that mean nothing without your presence. And they know they built it all on sand the moment they let you go. Type Amen to get blessing 4999. You didn't just walk away, you ascended. You didn't scream, you didn't beg. You simply rose, and your rise was more painful to them than any goodbye. Now you are in rooms that they dreamed of, speaking with people they'll never reach. Your light is stretching further than they ever imagined, and they're watching, wishing they had stayed close enough to bask in it. But it's too late. They thought time would erase the pain. But time only taught them how deep your presence truly was. The days stretch longer without your voice, and the nights ache heavier without your comfort. There's a certain kind of power in being missed by someone who thought you'd always be there. And now they live in that power. Every breath reminds them of what they lost. Archangel Michael says, your path is guided, and your absence is the consequence they needed to evolve. You are not coming back to old places, you are being prepared for new elevations. And those who couldn't honor you will now honor your name in silence. Type Amen to get blessing 2191. Someone has been secretly watching your success grow, unable to look away. They pretend not to care, but their eyes track every step you take. They are fascinated by your transformation, and tormented by their lack of access to it. They speak your name in private, hoping to still feel connected to you. But you've already shed the version of you they knew. And they don't recognize the new you, not because you've changed too much, but because they never truly knew you. You were more than a friend, more than a lover, more than an inspiration. You were the foundation they never thought they'd lose. And now every structure in their life is shaky without you in it. You gave them chances. You forgave their distance. You overlooked their silence. But now they are the ones being overlooked, and it's a silence they can't handle. Type Amen to get blessing 3535. You've become their midnight thought and their morning ache. Even surrounded by others, they still feel alone, because no one else speaks to their soul the way you did. You didn't just love them. You understood them. They try to recreate you in others, similar words, same laughter, even mirrored gestures. But no matter how hard they try, the energy is missing. Because what you gave can't be replicated, it was authentic, sacred, and rare. You were not a moment. You were a movement in their life. The kind that rearranges everything without warning and leaves behind a permanent shift. Their friends noticed the change. Their habits have altered. Even their laughter is different now. That's the power you had without even trying. Type Amen to get blessing 7755. Some people wait a lifetime for what they once held in their hands. That's them now. Watching the world love you the way they couldn't. They feel your elevation, even if they don't speak it aloud. Your victories echo in their chest like a storm they never saw coming. And every win of yours reminds them of the moment they lost. You were not loud, but your departure was deafening. Now they hear it in every corner of their life. They miss the version of themselves they were when you were around. You made them better. And now they have to face the truth that they let go of the one who helped them feel whole. And that kind of loss leaves permanent scars. Type Amen to get blessing 8877. Let this be your confirmation. You were never ordinary. You were the divine interruption to their chaos, the light in their confusion. And when you left, the darkness rushed back in. They'll never find you again. Not because you disappeared, but because you've risen so high they can no longer reach you. And now they must live with the echo of your greatness in a world that once took it for granted. They saw your loyalty as weakness. They saw your patience as passiveness. But now they see the truth. You were powerful, and they were blind. Now, every part of their day feels incomplete. And every joy feels tainted, because it's missing the one person who made it real. You. Archangel Michael says, your future is not behind you. It's stretching ahead, pulling you toward new blessings, deeper love, and greater peace. The ones who couldn't see your worth then are watching now with nothing but regret. Type Amen to get blessing 99.